Okay, so we've been preparing for the last 30 days for the very, very exciting event that will be happening in about 29 hours, a bit more. About 30 hours from now, you're going to be standing in front of your Chanukiah, getting ready to basically do the most powerfully, spiritually uplifting thing you've ever done in your whole life. And we said in order to really tap into that energy, you have to understand what you're doing. So that's what we did for the last 2 days. So if you weren't here, I think they're on Spotify or YouTube, somewhere. But you need to listen to those 2 classes before tomorrow night. Really about what the light coming into the world really is, and what the war was between darkness and light, and just get a basic understanding. But today, we're going to talk about the mitzvah itself. You're going to get ready. So what you can do is, you can basically get one wax candle, put it in a nice little thing, say 3 brachas, and then light, and then go and have sufganiya, play dreidel, and then just take your phone. You could do that. I wouldn't do that though, because you'd be missing out on the whole event. There's an event. Now, why this is one of my favorite mitzvahs is because there's so little to it. Lulav and etrog, you got to tie them together and they got to be right, and you got to shake them all around. You got to do all these crazy, the shofar, you've got to do, you got to hear 90 blows. Pesach Seder, you got the 15 steps and the matzah, you got to eat this much matzah and that much wine. There's so much to most festivals. Even Purim, you got to read the Megillah and you got to give Mishloach Manos. So I love those mitzvahs as well because there's so much. But I love Hanukkah more because there is so little that it's all up to you. You have to give it everything. The other things, it gives it to you. There's so much inspiration, there's so much to do that it's hard not to get into it. For this one, you get to choose how amazing it is. And you should choose it to be as amazing as it could possibly be. By the way, this is why my other favorite mitzvah is counting the Omer. Because counting the Omer, you just have to say a number. Today is the first day. Done. Or you can start jumping around and singing. And my son and I, we've got a beat. Today is 20 days. Today is 20 days, which is 2 weeks and 6 days of the Omer. Of the Omer. And Binyamin's jumping around today. I'm singing and he's beatboxing. It's like, so the Omer is a very big thing in our house. But it's only because we're making it big. So you have to make it big. How do you make it big, by the way? Our sages told us. The halacha is tapping us into the deepest secrets. Someone said to me the other day, I don't like learning dry halacha. I was like, it's not dry. It's not dry. It's not dry. Maybe on the surface, but if you understand what the halacha is teaching you, it's going to open up and create this vessel. This is what we said before. The mitzvah is the vessel to receive the light. So how do you do it? Before we even get there, and we've been doing it basically for a little while, but from today, you're going to do the 3 things that are really needed for you to start building your spiritual vessel to receive the divine cosmic light of creation. Number 1 is lihishtokek. Do you know what the word lihishtokek means? It's a very deeply important word. Lihishtokek means to yearn. Hishtokikut. It's a very beautiful, powerful word. There are lots of words in Hebrew for this. Like cheshek, gagua. We got lots of words for yearning, but this is a very good one. You have to, I cannot wait. Are you walking around already? Well, you have been for the last 3 weeks. You're like, well, really, since Rosh Chodesh Kislev, you've been like, oh my goodness, I just can't wait. I can't concentrate. I just can't wait to, like we said in one of the classes before, is if you got a ticket to an amazing concert, you got, Yishai Rebo concert, I got a ticket, you should feel like you've got this ticket. You got this ticket. So the number 1 thing is lishtokek. For everything, by the way, for Shabbos, you got to start yearning for Shabbos. Sunday morning, you wake up, you're like, Shabbos. So the more you yearn for something, the more special it becomes. So then when you do it, the more you enjoy it. If you're like, yeah, I'll just go to the concert when it comes. I'll see if it's all right. Not going to get as much. So number 1 step, yearn. Shalom Aleichem. Number 2 step, lehitbonen. Number 1, lehishtakek. Shalom. Number 2, lehitbonen. You've just come for some of the most important Hebrew words ever. Lehitbonen is a Jewish meditation technique. It's called contemplation. You must lehitbonen. You must be mitbonen. What am I about to do? Now you're going to be mitbonening on all the ideas I shared for the last 2 days. That we are bringing in the primordial light of creation into the world. That the light of Gan Eden is coming into the world now. To litbonen, you'll be like, oh my goodness, this is what an amazing opportunity. To really think to yourself, wow, this is an amazing opportunity. And the third one is levakesh. What does levakesh mean? To request. You go say, please Hashem, please help me do this consciously. Please help me feel the relationship with you. Please. So really, our sages teach us that the deepest prayer is the prayer before prayer. For example, if you're about to eat, you're going to eat an apple. And you're going to say a bracha before you eat an apple. By the way, the bracha, we'll do the bracha class soon, maybe soon. But the bracha is the most amazing, unbelievable opportunity for God consciousness and gratitude and self-control and a million things. But before you even make the bracha, you should daven. You say, please Hashem, please help me make the bracha with kavanah. Please help me eat in a conscious way. Please help this act of eating actually connect me to you. Please help me become present. So prayer isn't just something we do 3 times a day from a prayer book. Prayer is a consistent conversation. So we've got to get in that. I don't know if I told some group yesterday, my cousin, I shouldn't say maybe, but anyway, my cousin's son split up with his girlfriend, and very, very, very painful. And he said, this morning, he said, how can I pray? And he goes to Yeshiva and he's like, I'm upset with Hashem. Because, why would he put 2 people together that are so good for each other, and then it didn't work out? So I said to him, well, that's how you pray. You say to Hashem, Hashem, I'm hurting, I'm upset with you, I'm angry with you. Why did you do this? But I know it's not really your fault. I know it's best for me. Please give me the strength. That's called a real relationship. So you've got to do these. If you don't do these 3, remember, by the way, not in an OCD weird way. Okay, I better chill out. Everything I'm about to teach you today is a very ideal way to do something, but all of our spirituality has to come from a place of playfulness. Playfulness and joy and opportunity, not of, I better get it exactly right, how that Kabbalistic masters say it, otherwise God will be upset with me. Just get rid of that Yetzirah. It's the biggest Yetzirah. It tries to ruin everything. If I don't do it perfectly, it's not acceptable. Very not true. Every little thing you do, Hashem loves it. We said yesterday about the Shabbos candles, it's like a little scribble from your son. We did that yesterday. Next, we've got to get practical. You have to prepare early. If you don't have a Chanukiah, get one today. Get a nice one. Get a nice one. A beautiful Chanukiah. And by the way, I'm sorry. Now, if you do use wax candles, Hashem loves you unconditionally, and it means you're a pure, perfect, shining, holy, beautiful neshama. Loves it. And especially because you can choose the colors. I'll have the blue and the mitzvah is with oil. The miracle was with the oil. And the Chanukiah, the difference between the menorah and the Chanukiah, although everyone calls the Chanukiah the menorah, is the menorah had 7 arms. Chanukiah has 8. But whatever. The Chanukiah is a hemshech, is a continuation of the light of the menorah. In fact, you're meant to feel like you are the Kohen Gadol in the Beit HaMikdash lighting the menorah. But you're basically zooming yourself back to that day when we got that oil. You put the oil in, and that day when the Kohen Gadol, you are the Kohen Gadol. Unbelievable. Yeah, that's okay. You're the Kohen Gadol. You can sit wherever you like. There's a Hasidic Rebbe said to his students, what is the holiest place in the world? And he said, the Kadosh HaKadoshim, the Holy of Holies. He said, what's the holiest time? And they said, Yom Kippur. And he said, who's the holiest person? They said, Kohen Gadol. And the Rebbe said, no, actually, the holiest place is here, the holiest time is now, and the holiest person is here. But you are the Kohen Gadol, you got this big opportunity. So prepare early. Today you're going to get your oil. Now also, sorry, don't get OCD weird, but not the pre-prepared oil. You can buy 36 pre-prepared, they've already got the oil. You want to fill the vessel. The oil represents Meichin. Meichin is consciousness. So when you fill up the oil, that's also a time to pray. Hashem, please fill me up with consciousness. And on the second day, with love and consciousness. And with joy and love and consciousness. So whilst you're pouring in the oil itself, that's already a spirituality. In fact, us masters and sages teach that the preparation for a mitzvah is often more important than a mitzvah, in a way. One reason is because it often takes more time. It takes a long time to set up a Pesach table and cook the food, and so the preparation is part of the mitzvah. So you got to take your time to prepare it. Also, tomorrow morning, because we're lighting tomorrow night, at some time, set them up. It shouldn't be like, okay, the time's now, and quickly, I'm trying to fry the latkes, and if the kids got some ganiyot, and where's the drain? I'll just set up quick, and it overflows, and you're like, don't do that. Get up in the morning, say your Chanukah up, maybe, well, whatever, not too crazy, but it should be there, ready, and waiting for you before you get there. It's set. It's there, like on Shabbat. On Shabbat, we have the table set. Before Shabbat, it's not like Shabbat's coming in with, well, actually. But ideally, we've got the table set a bit early, so we're anticipation. Oh, that's a nice word. I'm anticipating. Hishtokek, new translation. Anticipation. Oh, very, yes, please.
Can you just go through what the 7 emotions are that you're supposed to focus on? The 8 things you're supposed to focus on each night?
We're going to.
You said joy, love, consciousness.
Yeah, I know, I just made those up.
Oh.
I'm saying you can just say whatever you like. You
So
could,
there's nothing specific.
nothing specific, but generally in the realm of joy, love and consciousness and sweetness and health and happiness and loving everyone and God consciousness, all cool things like that. So it says in the Gemara, Petilut shemanim she'amru hachamim ein madlikim behem b'Shabbos, madlikim behem b'Chanukah. We got a whole part of the Gemara in Shabbos that says what oil and wicks you're allowed to use for Shabbat. And it says there are lots that you're not allowed to use. Why? Because they're not very good oil. They're spluttery, or they don't smell nice, or so you're not allowed to use these oils and these wicks for Shabbat. But the Gemara says all of the ones you're not allowed to use on Chanukah, on Shabbat, you can use on Chanukah. Amazing. So does that mean Chanukah is holier or less holy than Shabbat? If you can use the oil on Chanukah that you can't use on Shabbat, does that mean Shabbat's holier or Chanukah's holier? So you would think, well, Shabbat's holier, but hold on, maybe Chanukah is so holy that you could just use any oil. It's reached that level of holiness. Our sages teach us a very special idea. On Shabbat, we go to Hashem's house. We go to the palace, and we have a meal in Hashem's house. On Yom Tov, Hashem's coming to our house, and we have a meal. He comes to our house. On Chanukah and Purim, we're in a pit. We're down. We're in the lowest place, and Hashem, in all His kingly glory, comes and sits in the pit with us. Gets mud on His royal cloak and says, "You know what? Even in the lowest spiritual place you might possibly be, I'm there with you." Which makes it the lowest and therefore the highest. It makes it the lowest, but therefore it's so holy. It's so holy because Hashem is saying, I'm not just, you think Hashem's palace is the holiest place, and it is, of course. But Hashem says, but you're so holy, I'm going to be with you wherever you are. However, of course, we do use olive oil. Because that's what the miracle is based on, and it's all the ideas about how do you make oil by crushing olives. So how do you bring the best out of a Jew? The Jewish people would get crushed a lot. but we have resilience and we shine our light into the world even though we're being crushed. And that's why our two holiest liquids are oil and wine, because wine is also made by crushing grapes, and wine represents Kedusha. Spoke about Kedusha yesterday. So light and holiness that we're bringing into the world comes from being a bit crushed. So on Hanukkah and Purim we were crushed as a people, but that's where our true light and our holiness came out. That's what's going on. Next thing it says, not the next thing, it says in the Gemara, Ner Hanukkah mitzvah lahanicha b'toch asara. The mitzvah, the ideal place to light your Chanukiah is, and don't freak out, you don't have to do this, but I am going to, below 10 tefachim. This is a tefach. So 10 tefachim is basically this table. You want to light your Chanukiah below that. Don't worry. If you light it above that, do you know what that means? You're a beautiful, shining, beautiful neshama, and Hashem loves you, and you're amazing, and you're perfect and wonderful. However, if without being weird and annoying people and getting resentful and weird, you can put it below 10 tefachim, I'm going to, because that is the best way to do it. And I'll just explain why. Because the Gemara goes on to teach that the Shekhinah, the divine, the palpable divine presence, doesn't go below 10 tefachim. Whatever that means, because obviously Hashem's everywhere. But it just means that it's so spiritually low in that place. It's the place of it's called the Sitra Achra, the other side, which of all is all part of Hashem. But in general, Hashem doesn't come below there. But on Hanukkah, we bring the light into the lowest place. So we bring the Shekhinah. Chanukah, by the way, Chaf Hey is not just the date, 25, but it's from the word Ko. Ko Ama Hashem. It's a level of nevuah, of prophecy, and it's actually another name for the Shekhinah, the dwelling. In fact, when Abraham and Yitzhak are going up to the Akedah, Abraham says, we're going to go Ad Ko. It's a very strange, in the Akedah, we're going Ad Ko. Ko doesn't mean there, so some people say it means we're going to the level of Chanukah, that level of Shekhinah in the lowest place. So what I'm doing is, as we spoke about yesterday, 2 days ago, that our purpose in the world is to bring godly light into the world. So on Hanukkah, we're going to bring it into the lowest place. Yes?
Isn't there a concept to light higher so that people can see, like especially during a
Pesumen Nisa. Yes, there is that concept as well. So, in general, especially in the old city and in Nachla'a, where I live, everyone is expecting it to be. You walk around, you see everyone's lighting it now, and that is the Pesum of the Nes, because the Nes is that the Shekhinah comes to the lowest. That is the Nes. I have in the past lit, well, 3. I in the past lit my low one, but then Dafka for that reason lit another high one for the Pesum, to get the Pesum Nisa. Although you got to be very careful. It's a funny story. I got to remember it properly. There was one new Baal Tshuva. And Baal Tshuvas, because they don't know what to do, they get very over anxious and they do everything. So there's opinion that you should light it on the table inside the house, and opinion you should light it low outside the house, and it's better to light it in your room, and it's better to light it in the yeshiva. So there are about 8 different opinions. So he basically bought 8 Chanukahs. He was like, I better do everything. So he said to his Rebbe, hold on, I'm going to do them all, but this is a very funny story. I'm going to do them all, but which ones should I say the bracha on? Which one's my main one? So the Rebbe was like, chill out, you're going to be crazy. And he goes, no, I've got to do it right, I want to get every opinion. So he took him to Rav Steinman, I think, a Jewish rabbi. And because the Rebbe wanted to say, hold on, you're going a bit weird. So he took it to Rav Steinman and asked the question. He goes, I bought 8 different Chanukahs to fill every different opinion. Which one should I break a bracha on? And he said, none of them. Shaiter pater min mitzvahs. An idiot doesn't have to do mitzvahs. It's a funny story. I just wanted to tell that story because I'm going to say things and I don't want it to ruin your whole thing. It's beautiful. Whatever you do, you do. So the next thing it says, where else do you like it? Ner Chanukah, mitzvah lanicha al petach beito mibuchutz. And this is definitely the minhag in Yerushalayim, that we light outside. Many people light inside in their house, and it's easier that way, by the way. But the mitzvah, the best way to do it really is outside, because chutz represents chitzonius, which means externality and superficiality and darkness. The house is a place of safety and warmth and light and love. So we don't need to light in the house because it's already full of that light. Whereas the chutz, the purpose of the mitzvah of Hanukkah is to bring light into the darkness. When it got dangerous to do that, back in Europe, so they said, no, we'll light it inside. And now I think most Hasidim, they light inside as a shita, and there's deep Kabbalistic reasons why you should light inside as well. So the answer is, whichever one you do is perfect. The lighting outside is perfect, and lighting inside is also perfect. Personally, I'm going to be lighting outside because I want to light up the dark. I want to bring light into the world around me, and my house, thank God, is already so beautifully and sweetly full of light. It's also on the left of the door. The left is seen as a darker, it's like yin and yang. So the right is chesed, and the left is gevura. So it's also bringing the light into the left side, the darker side. And also because you have your mezuzah on the right, and then you have your Chanukiah on the left, so then you're surrounded in mitzvahs. What you should do, if you can, without getting strange, stand in between your mezuzah and your Chanukiah. Just be surrounded, and if you're wearing tzitzit, you're going to hold your tzitzit, or your head covering. You're going to hold your tzitzit standing in between your Chanukiah and your mezuzah, and you're like, in Eretz Israel, which itself is a mitzvah, in the mikveh, with your tefillin on. So you can try and get as many of those things you can. Left hand side.
Are you going to wear your tefillin also?
Pardon?
Are you
No, I don't. Although I actually could, because we're about to learn. Well, before we learn that, the mitzvah, it says, I'm just reading the Gemara here. Mitzvah Hanukkah ner ishu beisa. The mitzvah of Hanukkah lights is 1 candle per house. That's the mitzvah. 1 candle each night per house. It is the only mitzvah that relies on a house. A homeless person, there's actually a machlokas, but a homeless person doesn't need to light Hanukkah candles because you have to have a house. It's on the house. What other mitzvah do you need a house for? Pardon? No, a house needs a mezuzah. It's not. We have mezuzahs here, it's not a house. There's no other mitzvah that depends on having a house. This is the house mitzvah. The bayit, because why? Represents the Beit HaMikdash. It's the menorah, we're lighting the menorah in the Beit HaMikdash. Everyone's now trying to think about what mitzvah is the house. Pesach Seder, you can do it in the field. Hachnasas Orchim. You can have a picnic in the park and invite people to your picnic in the park. I've really thought about this a lot. Well, sukkah, no, that definitely you don't need a house. You get a yat. It's the only mitzvah that needs a house. Amazing. Why? Because the house, the Beit HaMikdash, that's where we're bringing God consciousness into the world. It says mitzvah ishu beisa. So here it goes. Let's carry on. Mitzvah, 1 candle per house per night. How many candles do you have to light on the first night of Hanukkah? 1. On the first night of Hanukkah, you have to. Obviously, you could use a match to light that first light. The shamash, by the way, I grew up thinking the shamash is the most important holy light candle because it's higher up. It's not. It's shamash means it's serving. It's not. That isn't the mitzvah. Do you know why we have a shamash? You don't even need to light the other candles with that shamash. It's there because you're not allowed to use the light of the candles. The Hanukkah candles are so holy, you're not, as we're going to learn in a minute, you're not allowed to use their light to read by. So we're worried you might do that. So we have a shamash, which is a bit taller. So if you do use it in some way, we can say, no, it was the light of the shamash that you were using. That's all it is. But it's not the shamash, it's not a mitzvah at all. Unbelievable. How many candles do you have to light on the first night?
1.
Second night?
2. 3. 1.
1. Third night?
1.
1. Fourth night? 1. Fifth. The mitzvah is to light 1 candle each night. Lahadlik ner Chanukah.
So what do we like?
We're gonna get there. But the mitzvah is 1 candle each night. Gemara carries on. Mahadrin, more beautiful way to do it, or mahadrin actually means running after. Someone who's running after, coming back to it. I just want to do a mitzvah. I'm very excited. Mahadrin ner lechol echad ve'echad. A better way is that each member of the household lights 1 candle each night. So you got me and everyone in my house, we each have our own Chanukiah, and each of us light 1 candle each night. Mahadrin min mahadrin, the most beautiful, amazing way to do it is what you know. Beis Shammai Yomrim Yom Rishon Madlik Shmaine V'chan Ve'elech Chas V'Hailech. Beis Shammai says on the first night you light 8 candles. And then from then on you light 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beis Hillel says Yom Rishon Madlik Echad. Mikan ve'elech ma'aseh v'hoilech. You light 1 and then you build. And we said yesterday, they're both true. They're both amazing, powerful, beautiful ideas. We go by Beis Hillel now. When Mashiach comes, before next year, we'll be going like Beis Shammai. But Beis Shammai basically said, what you need in general in life is immense light. You need bright light and inspiration. And once you have that, you need to put in less because you're more connected already. So it takes less work. Hillel says really the opposite. You have to build slowly. You know, some people say, you know what, how should I give up smoking? Should I cut down or should I just cold turkey? And I say, well, it depends. Are you Hillel or Shammai? Shammai dika yidin, you just got to cut it. Stop. Don't do it. Hillel, you can do it in progression. Also, Hillel says there's 1 light. There's the light of Hashem, and each night we're bringing that light more and more and more into the world. Which is one of the beautiful ideas, I believe we shared it 2 classes ago, that with physical things, if I have 10 bananas and I give you 1, then I have 9 left, so I lose something. With spiritual things, with light, if I light your candle, I didn't lose anything, we just gained. It doubled the light. We can spread light to the whole world without losing anything. So with love, and with friendship, and with spirituality, and with joy, and with kindness, the more we give, the more there is. So that's Hillel. Shammai says, hold on, no. We want to see that the whole world is filled with godly light, plurality. Godly light fills existence, but really, by the time, every day we're getting holier and holier and holier. We got to such a high level where we just see there's just 1. It's all Hashem. Ain't no Melveda. So they're both lovely ideas. We go by Hillel. Now, one of the best things I like is, I grew up as a very proud Reformed Jew, and there's only 1 mitzvah in the whole of Judaism that there's a mahadrin min a mahadrin way to do it, and that is this. You can get better. Hidor mitzvah means a nicer way to do a mitzvah. The only mitzvah where there's a mahadrin min a mahadrin is Chanukah, and me, as a Reformed Jew, and every Reformed Jew in the world, is doing it, the only mitzvah that could be done, mahadrin min a mahadrin, is that's how every Jew is doing it. So you can't say anyone's far away or close or whatever. We're all doing it, we're all in it. Even the shemen and even the oil and the wicks that we don't use on Shabbos, even those Jews who don't keep Shabbos, most of them keep, most of them light the Hanukkah candles, and not only that, in the best way to light it. Oh, amazing. That's how Hashem sees it. Hashem loves us all. Amazing. Next, let's keep going. Now, fine. Let's go. Next. On the first day, you're going to light 1 candle. On the second day, and we're going to start from the right. You're looking at your Chanukiah. It's in front of you. First day, your first candle goes on the far right. The second day, you're going to prepare the second candle first and then the first candle. So we're going to have 2 on the right. Which one do you light? Do you like the first and then the second, or the second and then the first?
Second and the first.
Second and the first. Why?
Reserve the second.
Because we always move to the right. Judaism, we're very into the right, which represents chesed. So we put our right shoe on first, and when I put my arm in my right sleeve first. When I walk into my house after a day of work, I walk in with my right foot first. Why? Because I want to bring love into my home, love into my life. So we're always turning right. Third day, you're going to set up the candles. 3, 2, 1, and you're going to say the brachas, and you're going to light the third candle, second. And really, the truth is, only the first candle is an actual obligation. As we said before, you only need to light one candle. So the other candles that you light are a tosefet. They're an extra thing, and we love extra things. No, we're not saying it's extra. Oh, extra. We're like, that's extra good. That's going above and beyond the letter of the law. Hashem loves those extra candles. He loves it. Someone said to my son, he's got big payas, and he's 10. They're like, Binyamin, why do you have payas? Now I've trained my kids since they were born to know why they do what they do, because I speak to lots of off the derech people, and they're like, someone asked me when I was 16 why I keep Shabbos, and I was like, I don't know. So I went off the derech. So since they were born, I'm like, why do you wear a kippah? Why do you have payas? So he said, because the Torah says that you can't shave the corners of your hair, and we're going above and beyond that. It says you can't shave it down all the way, but we say, okay, well, I'm not going to shave it at all then. And it's as if your wife, my 10-year-old son, it's as if your wife asked you for a cup of tea and you bring her a cup of tea and a cookie. I was like, where did you get that example from, Binyamin? So that's good. Okay, now we're talking about the time. What time? What time? When are you going to light your candles? Ideally. So it says in the Gemara, Mitzvah misha tishka hachama. The ideal time to light the Chanukiah is at sunset, Shkia. The Arizal says you should light at Shkia. Most people nowadays light, and there's other halachas, are at Setza Kochavim, at nightfall. I'm going to be lighting at Shkia, just because that's what the Arizal says. Now, this is a very, very important idea in Avodas Hashem, in spiritual work. That you're going to try and do it in the ideal way. But do not make other people suffer for your spirituality. So if I've set up my candles at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I come home and I'm waiting half an hour before Shkia, I start doing my kavanas, my intentions, me and my children, I haven't lit them yet, we're dancing up like the chassan and the kala in front of them, we're singing songs, we're getting ready for the Chanukiah, and I'm like, 1 minute I stay, 1 minute to Shkia, and then suddenly my wife is like, Davi Bear, we got to change the diaper. I'm not going to be like, no, the Arizal says Shkia. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to, Basimcha Gadol, with great joy, put down my candle and change that diaper, Basimcha Mamish. Because that's what Hashem wants. And what I'm going to do is, on the 8th night, you see it building, it's all perfectly set up. 1 minute before Shkia, Lahadlik, bam, football comes out the house, smashes it all on the floor. You're going to dance with joy. You're going to be like, Baruch Hashem. What an amazing opportunity for bitul, self-nullification. That is the highest avoda. Don't plan that, by the way. So what I do is, I plan, and this goes for every chag. On Pesach is the chag of speech. Pharaoh is pet ra, a bad mouth. Pesach is mouth speech. It's all about, Nisan is all about speech. So you don't want definitely any negative lashon hara at your table, but you don't want politics and sports at your table. You don't want that. It's a very holy time for speech. And then a guest is going to come and start talking about the baseball, and you're going to be like, Baruch Hashem, what an opportunity to nullify myself. Amazing. Very important, guys. Mikveh on before Shabbos. Friday afternoon, you have to go to the mikveh. How can you make kiddush properly if you haven't purified yourself? Very, very important, with all the kavanas, man. But there's only 20 minutes till candle lighting. You haven't gone to the mikveh yet, and then suddenly the chicken soup falls on the floor, and your wife's crying, and the kids aren't dressed yet, and the guests are coming in 4 minutes, and you're like, and your wife is like, don't be bad, and you're like, mikveh, holy, I'm holy, I have to go to the big. What you do, husbands, you say, hey wife, go and have a hot shower. I'll clean it up. Kids, go and get dressed. And you don't go to the mikveh, and then you make kiddush And it's Hashem would have hated your mikveh. He would have drowned you in the mikveh, probably. So you know what your mikveh is? Your squeegee mop. Like I'm like, and take the mop and Hashem loves it. In fact, the word for to dunk in the mikveh is tovel, tovel, which is the same letters as bittul. So you went to the mikveh of self-nullification. Hashem loves it. And then the next morning you get up early, go to the mikveh, unless you need to feed the kids, and then you don't. So the best time, apparently, according to the Gemara and the Kabbalists, is Shkia. Now, there's a very strong opinion by people who are much more spiritual and wise than me that says Tzeitze Kochavim, stars. So they're both cool. Go for it. Do whatever's cool. Do whatever you want, whatever your family minhag. I think Sfardim could do Tzeitze Kochavim, and they're much cooler than me. Well, Sfardim are just much cooler than Ashkenazim in general. So it says here, Mitzvah ner Chanukah yitzu beishlom madrin. Oh, we did that? Oh, here we go. Mitzvah is from Shkia ad shetichle regel min hashuk. When's the first time you should really light is at Shkia? You've got to remember, if you do light at Shkia, there needs to be enough oil that it burns for half an hour after nightfall. Ad shetichle regel min hashuk literally means until stop legs from the market, which means until people have stopped going home. Whilst there are still people in the road, that's when you can light your Chanukiah. Afterwards you can't really, because there's no one to show the miracle to. Nowadays you don't have to worry, because I live next to the shuk, at 8 time in the morning. But the Hasidic masters teach that Ad shetichle regel min hashuk is a very deep idea. The word regel means leg, legs. But it's related to the word regular in English, but lihitragel. Lihitragel means to do something habitually. Habitually. Out of rote, habit. Habitually. So regel min hashuk, in a deeper way means you've just got used to life. You're in the marketplace. This is how you think. This is how you act. This is what you're doing. You're basically a zombie or a robot just going through the motions. So you got ad shetichle regel min hashuk. Tichle means finish, i.e. until you stop doing things habitually. You've got to be on this very high level of consciousness that you're not just lighting your candles because that's what you do. The first thing that God said to Moses, the first thing that the divine, infinite, conscious, loving, intelligent creator of the universe said to the most enlightened person on the face of the planet, Moshe, was Shal na'alecha me'al raglecha, which means take off your shoes from on your feet. So he didn't need to say from on your feet because Moshe knew where his shoes were. So the Baal Shem Tov says that na'alayim, the word for shoes, is related to the word na'ul, which means locked, and raglecha is habits. So if you want to have a real, authentic, spiritual, conscious relationship with God, you have to shal na'alecha me'al raglecha means unlock your habits. Not your bad ones, by the way. Your bad ones, just don't do them. Don't do the bad thing. For example, random example, eating sufgania before Hanukkah. Eating a donut before Hanukkah. What a ridiculous thing to do. Why would someone do that? That's very strange. What has donuts got to do with before Hanukkah? And then you're taking away, imagine you wait the whole year and other people are eating donuts and you're like, you know what, I'm not going to. Like my 12-year-old daughter who got onto her bus to school 2 days ago and the bus driver bought them all donuts. And my daughter said, no, I don't have it until Hanukkah. Yeah. Do you know how much she's going to enjoy that donut? You're just going to really enjoy it. It's not just, oh, I'll just have another donut. And people like to say, no, but you've got to warm up. I've got to warm up my donut. I've got to get ready for it. There you go. Before you get married, Be'ezrat Hashem, you're going to have 7 days apart. You're not going to go and live together for 7 days before you get married. Not that I'm comparing eating a donut before Hanukkah to... Well, I am actually. But you don't eat matzah before Pesach. Donut is from Loshen do not. Do not. Okay, now let's get on to the real business here. I think we basically got that. So now we know what we're doing, basically. And if you can't do anything I said, that's cool. Hashem loves you. You're cool. Just do it. Brilliant. As long as you want it. the Shulchan Aruch and the Mishnah Berurah, and everyone says, it's all about your heart. So you can have someone who does it perfect. I did it at Shkia with olive oil in exactly at 7 tefachim, and be an arrogant, disgusting human being. So in fact, sometimes when you can't do it how you want to do it, you feel a little bit broken, and that's the most beautiful thing. Hashem loves that. Not broken, but it's like Hashem respects humility. So if you get everything perfectly right and you walk around and say, I had the best candlelight, it's like Hashem doesn't think so. Hashem, you are too much ego, not enough godly light. So it's actually very good for you if it doesn't go your way, which you probably won't, Baruch Hashem.
So my husband travels like 3 hours to a spot once a week to see his kids. He gets home at midnight. Is it better to light at midnight, or that he should light with his kids and I should light with my grandkids?
With you, midnight.
At midnight.
But get people, you want to light with Ishu Beso means the man and his wife. You light the
Even though it's 12 minutes late.
Your wife's everything. There's no time when it comes to your wife. Wife? Ish took a gufo. He's not even him without you. Like, he could light in Svat, but he'd only be half a person. It'd be terrible. Tell him I said that. Okay, now quickly, let's get on to the brachas. Now you're going to say brachas. Tomorrow night, how many brachas are you going to say?
3.
3 brachas tomorrow night. You got amazing. So what is going to happen is, you're going to have it all set up there. And before you make the brachas, especially if you're Sephardi, you're going to have a 8-page L'Shem Yichud. L'Shem Yichud, all the kavanas of the Arizal and the kavanas of the... You don't need to do that. But before you make your brachas, at least do some of your personal little I'm really doing this because I want to serve Hashem and I want to bring light into the world. And do that in your English words before you even say the brachas. Say, Hashem, please help me do this consciously. Please help me enjoy it. Please help me spread the light. Please help me be a good Jew. Purify my soul. Very, very important to do that. And then you're going to get ready for the brachas. Now, I can't give you the whole bracha class now, but I will when I get back. But brachas, this is not how you say brachas. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam she'egid shan. No. You have to feel, and this is a crazy idea, you have to feel like you're talking to God. Baruch atah. Baruch atah. Are you just saying words? Or are you speaking to the infinite, divine, conscious, loving creator of the universe who's keeping your heart beating and is imminently present right in front of your face? So don't say Baruch atah Hashem, say Baruch. Baruch in itself is enlightening. You are the source of everything. I'm pulling you down into my consciousness. Baruch means a million amazing... What does Baruch mean? Blessed. What does blessed mean? Baruch means increasing God consciousness in the world. Atah. You've got to say the word atah is you're speaking to God. Atah is the single most important word in the Siddur. Because if you can say the word atah with intention, then you're already speaking to God. So you've got to say Baruch. Atah. We put out the candle 15 times. And before I finish, don't freak out. They're both perfect and they're a different minhagim. Lahadlik ner shel Chanukah or lahadlik ner Chanukah. I believe in general. Sfardim say lahadlik ner Chanukah and Ashkenazim say lahadlik ner shel Chanukah, and that is so perfect, beautiful, and wonderful. Our deepest sources teach us, and obviously this is why the Sfardim do it, we shouldn't be saying shell. Now, if your parents said shell and your grandparents said shell for the last 2,000 years, say shell with immense simcha. Be like, Dafka say it. Lahadlik ner shell. But I'm now going to give you 4,000 reasons not to say it. Number 1 reason. Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, asher gidishanu b'mitzvah v'tzivanu lahadlik ner Chanukah. 13, Gematria 1. Echad. Hashem is 1. The next bracha, Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, she'asa nitzim le'avotenu b'yamim ha'em b'zman hazeh. 13, Gematria Ahava. Love. 1 love. Bob Marley got it right. 1 love. 13 plus 13, 26, God's name. We want to stick to 13 words in our bracha. By the way, if you say shell, you're going to say, well, I'm having 14 because I love Hashem even more. Make up some kavanah. But don't worry, but I'm not saying shell. I'll tell you that one. I'm saying lahadlik, ner, Chanukah with my 13 letters. The other reason we're saying lahadlik, ner, Chanukah is because the first letters of lahadlik, ner, Chanukah, lamed, nun, and chet, can be arranged in certain very important ways. They spell the word Nachal. Now Nachal means a river. And it's really it's a name of Hashem. And it means this river of light that's coming into the world. The river of God consciousness that is being pumped into the world, tapping into that river. Nachal is Gematria 88. Why is 88 significant? It's significant because on Chanukah, including the Shamash, you light 44 candles. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 7 8. 36 candles, which represents the 36 hours in Gan Eden and the 36 hours of the hidden light. But with the Shamash it's 44, so you light 44, and Hashem obviously mirrors your mitzvahs, so that's 88. So there's 88 lights happening really over Chanukah, which is the Nachal. And it spells Chalon. We just had, Yosef saw his father's face in the window. There's a very deep concept about the reflection of one's own neshama in the window. Enough said. And my favorite one is Nachal, Nen, Nun, Chet, Lamed, are the first three letters of a very important pasuk. Nafshenu chikta lashem. Nafshenu chikta lashem means our souls are yearning for Hashem. Souls are yearning for Hashem. Lahadlik ner Chanukah, our souls are yearning for Hashem. Oh my God, do we have time? What's the time? I'm going to do it very quickly. Go. 47. We're going to go a bit over time, but let's do this. We're learning from B'yam Darkecha. It's a sefer that's written by Rav Morgenstern's student. It goes like this. B'tevet lahadlik. What are you going to be thinking when you say the word lahadlik? You're probably going to be thinking, I hope they don't come and knock over the Chanukah now, but that's not the ultimate thing. B'tevet lahadlik, what do you yikaven? You should be having this. Lahadlik bilibo hitlavud leishtakikud le'or Hashem. You should be lighting up in your heart an enthusiasm and yearning for God's light, love and devekas. So you're going to be going like this. You're going to be going ladlik, and basically you should be going like ladlik. But your lahad. By the way, everyone to their own level. You know, not everyone's as crazy as me. But when I'm like I really believe one day I'm just going to burn my whole. I'm just going to burn my beard. Lahadlik, you're lighting up your heart. My heart is now on fire. I'm yearning for God consciousness. I'm burning and yearning. I'm motivated. I want Hashem. I want you, Hashem. Yearning. Lahadlik. Because we'll go on to the next one. So you're going to enter into your heart. It's a long thing, but we're going to go through it a bit quicker. So that's lahadlik. Lahadlik is lighting up your heart to have passionate yearning, burning for Hashem. And if you don't, you've got to daven for it. You say Adlik, Hashem, please help me feel that I just want you, and burning, yearning, and make me feel that I'm on fire. We've all got a fire. What is the kavanah for saying the word ner? Ner, lahadlik, v'hit ba'esh, she'aymek panimius, hadlaket haner. The real depth of lighting the candles, lahadlik v'la'ir b'nafshenu. So we've just lit up our hearts. Now we're lighting up our soul. You've got to feel that my soul is, because your soul, we spoke about this in the first class, your soul is basically a radiant divine light. That's what you are. Did you know that? You're a radiant being of divine light. You can never have low self-esteem ever again, because you're a radiant being of finite aspect of infinite divine loving light. That's who you are. So if anyone ever puts you down ever again, you just say to them, well, no, actually, I'm a radiant being of divine light. And they'll think you're crazy and they'll leave you alone and not talk to you anymore. But you should be saying, rather than saying to yourself, I'm not good enough, what's wrong with me, what do people think about me, what I mean, you should just be saying, I'm a radiant being of divine light. So that's why we said yesterday that the three parts of the candle, the ner, the flame, and the patil, the wick, and the shemen, the oil, ner, patil, shemen spells nefesh, because you're lighting up your neshama. My whole neshama is like, Ad Shenakir v'nichye bebehirut, until you recognize and you live with this vitality and clarity. She'akol zerak hu yitbarach. That everything, einod milvado, your whole neshama, everything. You're just in this aspect. You're a sun ray. Hashem is the sun, and you're a ray of shining sunlight. Pretty cool. Oh, not good enough. Shut up! You're a ray of shining sunlight. So when your Yetzer Hara puts you down, say wrong. Rabbi Dov Ber says that I'm a radiant being of divine light, a ray of shining sunlight. Write that on your mirror, in the bathroom, in your car, post-it notes, put it on your phone. I'm a divine being of radiant light. Do it. That's what you have to do. And you got to mitbanen, you have to consider how everything is just Hashem's light. Very quickly, let's do this quickly. There are three parts of the person. Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama. Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, three different levels of your soul. We said yesterday, the Nefesh is more just your enlivening soul, your chi, your force, like a animal has a Nefesh. So that keeps you alive. Ruach is your spirit, your emotions, your psyche. Neshama is your pure piece of God. And connected them, opposite them, are these three parts of your body. Klaliyot haguf, just your body itself, your limbs. Halev, your heart. V'amoach, your mind. So the nefesh is connected to the guf, the body. The ruach is connected to your heart, and the neshama is connected to your consciousness, your mind. These three parts. So it means that when you're saying ner, there's very cool things about to go on here, but we don't have time. When we're saying ner, that you should think to yourself, I am going to use all of my body and my physicality and my actions just to serve Hashem, just to be spiritual. All of my actions, I'm basically giving over to Hashem. And all my power to be able to move my arms comes from Hashem. You wouldn't be able to walk or move or do anything without Hashem. So feel your whole physicality is basically being given over to Hashem as an offering. Then you're going to be thinking my heart. You're going to be saying the word ner for quite a long time. I'm like, ner. Once again, you've got to be very simple. So if you're going to start like forget what you're doing, like, oh, and my heart, and then the thing burns down, you burn your hands, you're like, ah! So don't do that. But just go quickly. All my actions devoted to Hashem, all my emotions devoted to... Do you know why you have emotion? Do you know why you have the emotion of love? You're not meant to love food, I'm sorry. Love isn't for food and weather and sleeping. People love sleeping. It's a misuse of what love is there for. Love is meant for God and the Jewish people and the whole of humanity and Torah, and that's what love's meant. We misuse the power of love. The power of love. Then we got yira. Yira is the power of reverence and awe. We misuse it for people who are very good at kicking a ball. Oh my goodness! Guess who's at the cutout now? LeBron James. He can bounce a ball really well. Throw it into a net. I can't believe it. I'm not even listening to your class anymore. LeBron James is here. Bam! I'm out the door. I don't care about lighting my candle. I light the candles, rituals. LeBron James. It's a misuse of Yira. Yira is meant for the Rosh Hashiva. Yira is meant for your husband and wife. Yira is meant for Hashem. That's what Yira is meant for. So you're going to be thinking, I want to bring all of my emotions to be serving godliness and holiness. And then moach, your mind, all of my thoughts, all of my consciousness, I basically just want to be a completely God-conscious person. Ner. So that's what you're doing with the word ner. Actions, emotions, and thoughts, all devoted to Hashem. And then you're going to say Chanukah, eventually, like 5 hours later. I forgot, I can't find my hand. There's this whole amazing gichud, different names of Hashem. Basically, I'll say it very quickly, but I'll send out a sheet. If anyone wants a sheet, email me. dbcohen@aish.com. I'll send you out the Kavanah sheet. But basically, there are 3 names of Hashem. Adnus, Aleph, Daled, Nun, Yud. Elokim, and Ekyeh. Ekyeh is the one at the burning bush. We've got these 3 names that represent these 3 parts of you. If you take those three names and you weave into them Hashem's main name, Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey, with each of them. And you're meant to imagine the letters. I've got it, I just printed it out this morning. I could go and print them out and give them to you now. Then all of those letters added up come to 250, which is Ner. So Ner, which is candle, and you're saying Ner is actually the numerical value of all the names of Hashem tied in together. And that means we're bringing Hashem into every part of all of creation. Separate thing. Hanukkah, I can't find it and we run out of time, basically is you're coming out of the supernal world and you're saying, I want to bring this down into this world. Just very quickly, Kanzeh, lo b'derech shel bittul atachnon. When we're saying Ner, we're actually raising the whole of physical reality into a spiritual thing. We're saying, really, this table is part of Hashem's light and I'm part of Hashem. We're really saying the whole physical world is really just an expression of a spiritual reality. When we're saying Hanukkah, we're kind of doing the opposite. Ela habitul hu ba'ofen sha'or elyon yored ela nivra. This time we're saying Hanukkah, we're actually saying the two sides of the same coin. We're saying that really the divine light is coming down into this world. The first one was we're bringing this world up into just being a piece of divine light. This one is, hold on, let's get back to practical here. I now have to go and change the diaper. But changing the diaper is no less spiritual than lighting your Hanukkah candle. It's a little more stinky, but no less spiritual because that's part of your avodah. Everything's part of your avodah Hashem. So we want to actually not stay in those supernal worlds. We want to bring it down. That's Hanukkah. Chanu means to rest. Chanu, I'm resting. I'm bringing it down. Nachas ruach. I'm bringing God's presence into it. Then, what's the time?
57.
You're not allowed to use that light. It says you're not allowed to use them. You just have to look at the candles. The mitzvah is to light the candle, but then ideally, you're meant to sit and look at the candles for half an hour. And in that half an hour, you're meant to be breathing in the Or Ein Sof, the divine light of creation. Every time you breathe in, you should feel that you're breathing in spirituality, breathing in light into your soul. Now, I can't do that. I've got children running around and dreidels and stuff, but I do it a bit later. My candles burn all night. I have enough oil to go all night. In general, that's what you want to do. It says, it's very funny, it says you're not allowed to use the light, and the Gemara says you're not allowed to litzot ma'ot, you're not allowed to count money, but it uses a funny word for count. It uses the word litzot, which means really to want. So it's saying in front of the lights of Hanukkah, you shouldn't want money. We're not into physicality here. We're into something higher, spiritual. So you have an opportunity to then just sit and look at those candles.
Would you think about what?
I try not to think about anything. I try to think about filling myself with godly light. Every time I'm breathing in this divine light into myself. And just become very present and very clear. And then, when I get up, saying to myself, I now want to walk through life from this place of calmer, more connected spirituality.
Can you just tell me what you said the email asked for?
Email dbcohen@h.com, ask for the Kavanah sheet. dbcohen@h.com, ask for the Kavanah sheet, I'll send it to you. Bezrat Hashem, Chag Sameach, have a great Hanukkah. I'm actually going to be lighting in Johannesburg.
Oh, yeah?
Going tonight.
When do you get back? American.
Tuesday, the next Tuesday night afterwards.